So in a previous session, we learned about numeric and string data type. Today we'll try to understand the sequence data types. Now there are three types of sequences. First is list. Second is tuple. Third is range. Yeah. You need to understand this. Python sequences are bounded and iterable. Whenever we say an iterable in Python, remember iterable. It means a sequence data type. For example, a list, tuple, or a range. Yeah, iterable sequence. So let's start with the list. Just write the definition for your reference. So, as I said, Python sequences are bounded and iterable. Yeah. So let's start with list. Add a text to it. This sequence data. This looks good. Yeah. Let's start with the list. So I'll add a list. So what is list? Now Python lists are more versatile compound data types. A Python list contains items separated by comma and enclosed within a square bracket. Yeah. So you have this. You need to understand the differences. To some extent, now Python list similar to arrays in C. Yeah. The only difference between them is that all the items belonging to a Python list can be a different data type altogether. So you can have different data types within the above square brackets or list. Yeah. Now, for an example, let's see an example of different data type called, I'll say list1 could be, I can have 2024, comma, I can have a string variable, string uh, data type. I could have a float data type. Yeah, I could have a complex data type within it. Yeah, yeah. So all types of data you can think about, we can have it in list. Yeah, let's say print lst1. So we print the entire list. See, so you can store any kind of data type, yeah, within a list. And if I try to find the type of lst1, by habit, I have to do it. So it is a list. You can see this. Yeah. Now, as mentioned, an item in a list may be of any data type. It means that list can have another list. For an example, what I can do is, uh, for an example, what I can do is just, so as I said, a list can have another list, which becomes a nested list. So I can have list 2 is equal to, I can have strings. So I can have a list which has strings. So 1, comma, 2, comma, 3. I can have another list which has number 1, comma, 2, comma, 3. I can have another list which we have created above, which is called list 1. I can have it here. Let's see. So list 1 has another list which is a string, which is a number, and we have this complex list 1 which we have earlier created. Let's see if it takes it. Yes, it does. Let's try to print this list 2. What is the output that we get? Yeah, list 2. You can see. So it has a string, it has a number, it has the complex string that we have created earlier, the variable that we have created, which has provided me with the list, so which I have added within it. So a list can have items which are simple numbers, strings, tuple, dictionary, set of objects, or also a defined class. Yes, you need to understand that. So I'll write this here. Uh, a list can have items which are simple numbers, could be strings, could be tuples, could be dictionary, could be set or object uh, of user defined class. Yeah. Sounds good. So this is a basic understanding of what is list. Let's understand now what is tuple. Okay. So tuple. Now what is tuple? Now tuple is another sequence data type that is similar to a list, but by this tuple consists of a number of values separated by commas. Yeah. Unlike list, however, tuples are enclosed within parentheses. So tuples are enclosed within parentheses, which is this brackets. Okay. Now a tuple is also a sequence. Has each item in the tuple has an indexing referring to its position in the collection. The index starts from 0. Even list has uh, indexing which starts from 0. So every sequence data type has an index string which starts with 0. Yeah. So let's try to use the same example which we have seen earlier. This time we'll write tuple 1, variable as tuple 1. We'll change the square brackets to parentheses. Let's see if this works. We'll try to print this. Say print tpl1, which is the variable. Let's see whether we can print this. Great. So we have this sequence being printed. Same way, we can find the class or type. So I can say print type of tpl, and you can say directly type tpl1. Yes, am I right? Okay. Then find it is showing the object as tuple. Yes. Now, same way as we have seen in list, we can have list in tuples as well. Yeah. You can have nested tuples as well. So suppose I'll take the same example which we have this earlier. I'll create a tuple 2. I'll say PPL2, 1, 2, 3. This is a list. Let me make this number as a tuple. Yes. And I will have some other numbers like so call 1, 2, comma, 1, comma, and 1, 1, 2, anything else. Yes. So any type of numbers. Let me print it as well. So I'll say print PPL2. Yes. Yes. So it can have, okay, I have to enclose it within parenthesis, which I have missed here. So let me again put the brackets properly. It has to be included within parenthesis. My bad. So we'll do this again. So TPL2 has a lot of complex. It has list. It has nested tuple. It has list. As I said, this is list. Yeah, within square brackets, we have this tuple within a tuple. So which is a nested tuple. We have independent variables as well. Let's try to find out whether it works. Yeah. So it is showing me nested list. It is showing me a nested tuple. It has independent numbers or variables or data types as well. Yeah. As in the case of list, an item in the tuple may also be a list. That's what we saw right now. Now, to form a tuple, use parentheses. Using parentheses is optional. Yeah. Data items separated by comma without any enclosing symbols are also treated as tuple by default. So suppose I have this data type, data. Mm, I have this data which I'll print without any parenthesis. Let's see what it gives us. You will find that this is automatically taken within parenthesis. So you will find the parenthesis, the entire data is automatically put within parenthesis. So it is automatically converting it to a tuple. Yeah. Now suppose I have this tuple with me. Let me take another example wherein I can show how I can use the indexing in tuple. Yeah, I can have this. I can have a tiny tuple called is equal to not TPL. I cannot use the reserved words. So I just put it at TPL3 and I say tiny tuple. Yeah, I can have 1, 2, 3, comma John. Yeah, whatever it may be. Yeah, so I have created two variables, TPL3 and tiny TPL. Let's try to do some slicing dicing on it as we did for string. So I can say print TPL 3. Yeah. Let's see what it does. It will print the entire tuple. Yeah. It will print the entire tuple. So I'll just write it down. Prints the complete tuple. Okay. Uh, Suppose I want to get the first element of TPL3, which is ABCD. So how I can do is I can say print TPL3, and since the indexing starts from 0, I'll say give me same way as we did for strings. If you have to get the first character, then I used the variable and 0 within the square brackets. So this will give me first element in tuple. Let me see if it gives it. Yeah, great. That's what we expected. Let's see whether we can use the range as well as we use for string. Suppose I want to know all the elements which is starting from 786 till John. So same way we had for range. So I'll say 1 colon will 4, because I have to give one index more than the last variable. Yeah. So it is giving me the 3 elements. This is how you get the range. Same way as we did for string, we can have all the elements from first. Yeah. All ele within range. This was all elements within range. All elements after specified starting point. Yeah. You can replicate tuples using asterisks. So print TPL, or I can use tiny, I say tiny TPL. How many times I have to print it? Suppose I want to print it 3 times. Yeah. Replicate people number of times. Let's see if it replicates it 3 times. Yeah. Let me run this. I just take it in the middle so that you can see it. Great. You can see this tuple been repeated thrice. So what was the content of tiny tuple? It was 1, 2, 3, and John. Same way, 1, 2, 3, and John has been repeated 3 times. I can concatenate two tuples. So how can I do this? I have TPL3, and I'll say plus, which I have seen in string, and I can say tiny tuple. Yes. 598 tuples. Let me run this. We'll find these two tuples have got merged. So ABCD, which was till 70, was of tuple 3, and 1, 2, 3, and John was our tiny tuple here. Yeah. So the main difference between the list and tuples are the enclosure. So one is enclosed within square brackets, which was list, and tuple is enclosed within the parenthesis. Yeah. Now, the major thing that you need to understand is tuple cannot be updated. Yes, tuple cannot be updated because tuple can be, you can think it as read only. for an example, we had this TPL3. Now, if I try to replace TPL3, I'll get an error. So I try to replace anything within TPL3. So suppose I want to replace in TPL3, I want to replace ABCD, which is in zeroth index, which is zeroth index, with EFGH. So I'll say 0 equals to EFGH. Yeah. As I said, tuples are read only. Again, I'll write it here. I'll not write it, but I'll write it in the beginning. So where we have written the, yeah. Tuples are read only. Hmm. You cannot change the contents, change or update the contents of tuple by direct referencing. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let me do this function now. Yeah, it is giving me an error. Why? Because TPL3, TPL, okay, I have written yes. TPL3. Yes, what is giving? Tuple object does not support item assignment. Yeah. Same way, if I would have done this for a list, let me show you for list as well, so that you understand. I'll try to add a code here and I'll say list. We had something here. So you see 2024, I want to replace it by 2025. So I'll say list one, which is 2024 is at 0. I want it to be replaced by 2025. So let's see whether it is able to do it. Yeah. Now, if I try to print list one, it would have been replaced. Yeah. See. So list is where you can update the data, or you can with you can say those are mutable. Yeah. Lists are mutable, and I'll write it here as well. List are mutable. Yes. And tuples are immutable. Yeah. So you cannot change anything within a tuple directly, which is not allowed at all. Yeah. So this is a basic of list and tuple. The last one that we need to know about the sequence is the range. Yes, we'll get into detailed about list and tuples in our further sessions. But this is just to give you a brief understanding of what is list and what is tuple. Now let's see what is the range. Yeah, range. Now range in Python is an immutable sequence. Again, like just like tuple, which is typically used to iterate through a specific numbers. Now, range is mostly used in loops, like for and while loop, where you want to iterate through a specific number of time. So usually the syntax of range, yeah, is you will have range, yeah, you will have a start number or the start of your sequence. You will have a stop and you have a step. Step means how much time or how much you want the loop to happen. Like if I start from 1 till 10, yeah, the next step would be from 1, it would be 2. Now, if I say step as 2, it will jump 2 steps and it will give me 3. So this is first step. So start is an integer number to specify starting position. Yeah. Stop is where you want to stop. Yeah. And it is an integer number to specify stopping position. Yeah. Start again by default it is 0. So you do not need to worry. Step again is an integer number to specify increment. Yeah. So let's see an example. I'll write a for loop, which we'll again see in a later session. This is just an example to give you an idea of for data sequence. Sorry, range data sequence. So I'll say for I in range 5. So by default, it will start with 0. Yeah. And I'm asking it to print I. Yes. So let's see what is the output. As I said, starting point is by default 0. So it has started from 0 and it has ended at 4. Yeah. So it will always end one leg below the stopping point. So I have given the range to be 5, which is the stopping point, and it has stopped at 4. Same as we had for index. Yeah. Suppose I change this range. Now I say the starting point should be 2. I specified the starting point. Let's understand that. So it should start from 2 and end at 4. Yeah, pretty easy to understand. Now let's make it more complex by adding an increment. So I want it to start from 1 now, end at 5, and jump 2 characters every time. So let's see what happens. So it had started at 1. It has jumped 2 characters, which is 3. Yeah. My end point is 5. But it will always end before that, that is at 4. Since after jumping 2 points from 3, it will go at 5. That's why the loop has got broken and it has ended at 3. Yeah. So these are some basic things that you need to understand about the sequence functions. I hope that you liked it and you understood it very well, because this concept should be used at a later stage to get in-depth understanding about this data types. Yeah. The next we'll see in a quick session was binary sequence. Thanks as of now. Yeah.